Alright, guys, so we're doing things a little bit different today, and I'm gonna not just tell you guys a story, but I'm gonna tell my little brother the story at the same time. And he's sitting right next to me right now, so say hi, Jose.
What's up?
Yeah, so his name is Jose, and my name is Pablo. So, yeah, it's pretty easy to make fun of us for being Hispanic with those names. But today, I'm telling him a story that he's never heard before. He's heard most of my stories, but this one he hasn't heard. And it's actually going to be two stories, but the first one is in elementary school. So we were in sixth grade, and you have substitute teachers like every once in a while when your teacher calls out or whatever. So it was one of those days where we had a substitute teacher, and the substitute teacher was racist, as you can tell from the title of the story. And she was racist because we were in class and she was just rude. Like, she was mean to everybody. Like, one of those mean old ladies that's like fat? Yeah, she's one of those. And she was just mean to everybody, cranky for no reason whatsoever, just straight cranky. And we were in class and we kept talking to each other and everything. Like, you know how sixth graders are, just talk to each other. They don't really care as a substitute teacher, so you can't show them any respect. You know how it goes. They don't deserve it because they're substitutes and not real teachers. And you'd think she'd be like able to put up with that because she's probably done it for a while. But this girl, nah, she doesn't care. She was raised. You can tell she was raised with privileges. And what's it called? We were in class, and I have this one friend. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't know if he wants me to. I don't know if he cares. I don't really talk to him anymore. But we used to be friends, and he's Mexican. Now I'm not Mexican, but he is. And people always made fun of me. Like, they always assumed that if you're Hispanic, you're either Mexican or Puerto Rican. That's all the people say. So, but he really is Mexican. So it's not racist calling him Mexican because that's what he is. But we were in class, and of course he's over there talking. I'm over there talking. Like, not just us, but a bunch of kids were over there talking. But for some reason, the teacher ends up saying, "Shut up, Mexican," to him. Mind you, we're sixth graders, and we could not believe that the word "shut up" just came out of a teacher's mouth. Like, that was fucking crazy to us. But craziest part is that she put Mexican at the end of it. That's even worse. So we were like, holy shit, she's racist. And yes, this teacher did end up getting fired, but she but it wasn't just because of that. That wasn't the only reason she was racist. But you can tell she was racist because she said "shut up, Mexican" to a Mexican kid. And who knows, that kid could have not been Mexican for all she knew. Or she just assumed because of the color of his skin, he was a little bit darker than most, that he was Mexican. And that was pretty racist. But we switched classes in elementary school. Like, we switched, you know how,
Cycles.
yeah, cycles. Like, you teach math, you teach that. Well, that was the one class she got away with, and you know how adults are, they don't ever listen to kids. So kids came up to the other teachers and were like, she said this, and of course they're not going to believe the kids, because why would you ever believe a kid? People are just stupid, and adults believe each other, which is kind of wrong. So they just went along and they ignored it because all the kids were saying it. They thought the kids just wanted to get her in trouble. But then they switched classes, and she had to teach the other class. Because in sixth grade, that's what we did. We didn't just stay in one classroom. And then came to the other class, and this time she ended up like being racist towards black people this time. She would purposely, like I said, be mean. But what we started to notice is that she was mostly mean to the minorities in the class. Like, we were like 50% of the students, I guess, were white, but the rest were like all Hispanic and black people, and I guess we might have had like one or two Asians. But this time she started like trying to kick people out of the class But everybody started to notice that the only people she'd kick out was like the black people, the Hispanics, and that was it. So I don't know if I can even say this, but she basically said the N-word to a kid. And you obviously can't do that as a substitute teacher. That's just messed up in general. But at that point, this girl got in a lot of fights in school. Like, everybody knew she did that. But she's a nice person. But at that point, yeah. Like, the teacher the student ran out of the classroom. And she said she was going to go home. And she lived pretty close to the school, I noticed, because she lived in the same apartment complex that I did. And it was literally like a 5-minute walk from her school. And she said she was going to go tell her dad, which is not smart. And then the principal, like, you know how if you open a door or whatever, it's like a big deal when you're in elementary school. So you remember, I'm not going to say the name of the school, but you remember. And the other teachers noticed that this girl was walking out of school or whatever, and then the principal came out and chased her. She was running home to go tell her dad what happened, and basically after all this, she ended up getting fired, and I'm pretty sure she never taught at another school again or substituted for one or whatever. But thank goodness, finally, like, she should not be able to teach. But yeah, that was my story. That was my first one for elementary. So, isn't that messed up, Jose?
Damn.
That's really messed up, ain't it? Yeah, a lot of shit happened growing up.
I hated that school.
I mean,
that
you
sucked.
That school did suck. It was the poorest in the district. But all right, now I'm gonna tell you about the high school story. So we were in high school, and our history teacher, he told us previously that he was gonna not be there for something. I forget why, but he was like the chillest history teacher ever, one of my favorite teachers. And we ended up getting a sub, and he was out a lot this week, like in and out because of teacher meetings and stuff. So we'd have a sub, then he'd be there, and then we'd have a sub the next day. It was just like weird. The first couple of subs, they were pretty funny, but then came this sub, and he was racist. So, like I said, kids don't respect substitute teachers. I get why they're mad, but that's just what happens. You don't respect substitute teachers the same way you respect regular teachers. And the first thing is, this class, we were so used to being like able to talk to each other or whatever, because the teacher didn't really care. He let us do whatever we want as long as we did our work. He did not care, and he was really chill. So we just tried to do that, but the substitute insisted on everybody being quiet and nobody's allowed to talk while they do their work, which is kind of hard because we were all sitting in like groups. Like, we had like 6 people per group because we were doing some menus. I don't know if you guys ever did those in school, where you go from like table to table doing menus and like a little assignment. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we were doing. So it's kind of hard not to talk to each other. And some girl pulled out her phone, taking a picture of like the assignment so she can go back to her desk and do it. And then she got really upset. Like, the teacher got upset because, he got upset because we took a phone out. And you know how boomers are, getting mad over phones for no reason. And the girl was literally just trying to do her work. And of course, we all sat back down, and we were all just sitting there doing our work at this point. Everybody, we convinced him that taking a picture and doing our work at our desk is much easier. Fine, he had no problem with that. But what he did have a problem with is people talking to each other. Even though you're supposed to be working in groups with the people in your group, he had a problem with us talking to each other. So I won't even call this funny, it's just racist. But the crazy thing is, he ended up, there was like one group in the middle that had no seats. It wasn't even a group, it was just a bunch of seats there. And what he ended up doing is he kicked everybody. Like, people would talk, everybody would talk, and even if it wasn't like a minority talking, the minority would be the one to get kicked out of the group and sent to the middle. So at one point, it was, mind you, there's only like 4 minorities in the class. It was like me, two black people, and then I guess maybe a third black person. I'm not sure. I don't remember. It might have been three people. But what everybody found so racist is that we weren't even the ones talking, and he kicked us all out of the groups and made us go to the middle. And everybody noticed right away that he was only kicking like the minorities at the table. Everybody else in the class was like, wait. And at that point, we were in the middle, and he made sure we couldn't talk, but he still allowed the other kids to talk to each other. And that is the high school version story of racist teachers. Now, another racist thing I just thought about, like just off the top of my head, is how many teachers have called me Pedro in the past. Like, they have the sheet right in front of their name where it clearly says Pablo, and they'd still call me Pedro. I would have them for the whole year, 180 days a year, in their class, and not once did they ever call my name like Pablo, like it should be. They all called me Pedro. Now that's racist.
Yeah, it's racist.
And I don't even know where that comes from. I don't know where white people find, like, where it's like, dude, can they not tell the difference between Pablo and Pedro? I just find that to be racist sometimes. And I really didn't think it was racist until recently when I was older and I looked back on it. I just thought they like got my name messed up for some reason. But now I'm like, nah, they were racist. So that's my racism story from school. And I asked him if he had any racist stories from school, but he said it wasn't ever like the teachers. For him, it was just like the students. Comment down, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll put out more videos consistently this time. At least I'll try to.